Hello, everyone. Welcome to the speed learning series of ServiceNow's third-party risk management. In every session of this series, we will share with you quick insights into the must-know features of third-party risk management. This speed learning session will help you understand the risk intelligence service within a third-party risk management application. Now, as you know, in today's complex third-party management landscape, understanding and proactively managing third party risk is more critical than ever. And in order to achieve it, having a risk intelligence service is a key thing. So, in our today's agenda, we will get an understanding of what a risk intelligence is in TPRM means. We'll discuss how to integrate scores from risk intelligence providers. Following that, we will explore the various risk intelligence integration types that are available. We'll then highlight integrations supported by ServiceNow and its risk intelligence provider partners, followed by a quick demo, and finally point you to some of the key resources and takeaways that you can use in your implementation. Now, let's understand risk intelligence in ServiceNow's TPRM, right? So, in ServiceNow's TPRM module, risk intelligence refers to the ability to gather, analyze, and leverage data from various sources to gain a comprehensive and dynamic understanding of the risks associated with third party vendors, suppliers, or partners. It's all about moving beyond static assessments to continuous real-time monitoring and informed decision making. The key use of having a risk intelligence service in TPRM will benefit you while onboarding a third party or continuously monitoring your third party by integrating with external risk intelligence providers, right? So each third party risk score provider can offer multiple distinct risk scoring services. Example, it could be security, it could be financial or legal risks, right? So where each service can independently utilize either a number-based score or a set of risk ratings that which offers no, it also offers intelligent triggers based on ratings or scores by automated actions that can be set either to create or send a vendor risk assessment, or it could be creating or sending a issue or a task, or even sending out email notification to any additional users. So leverage the risk intelligence providers to obtain critical scores on third-party reliability. Right, these scores are similar to the credit ratings that help assess how safe and trustworthy a vendor is across different risk areas. So the building blocks for integrating scores from the risk intelligence providers include is that you begin by registering a risk intelligence provider, right? This is where you bring the external providers like those offering cyber or financial scores into the system to gain insights into your third party's trustworthiness. Next, you set up a risk intelligence provider service where after registering, you can configure the specific scoring or rating services from that provider uh, that you intend to use, and critically map their external scores to your internal TPRM rating scale for consistency. Following that, you set up a request type for a provider. So once the provider and their services are defined, you specify the types of request your organization will make for their data, whether it's a on-demand score or it could be scheduled reports. And then you add a risk intelligence score to the risk data for a third party. This is where the raw scores from the providers are ingested. The system automatically normalizes these scores using the mapping that has been defined, converting them into actionable TPRM ratings. Finally, you can automate actions upon risk intelligence updates, right? This is where you define rules so that any update to a risk rating from a provider can automatically trigger critical actions like creating an assessment or generating an issue or assigning a task or even sending out immediate email notifications. ServiceNow's TPRM integrates with diverse external source types, such as you can see, one is the independent software vendors, like it could be EcoVadis or Black Kite, or it could be content sources providing you the regulatory databases and industry standards, or it could be data sources providing you financial system related data, security tools and vendor management, and finally the ESG factors for comprehensive risk assessments. ServiceNow's platform extends its capabilities through robust integrations, and these are all available directly from the ServiceNow store, right? So first is we have an integration with shared assessments specifically for your SIG questionnaires, right? This is a content integration, meaning it provides industry standards content directly into ServiceNow, which allows us to use a widely recognized questionnaire for our assessments, streamlining our information gathering process and ensuring you are asking the right questions. Next is we also have EcoVadis integration, which is critical for understanding sustainability factors, where EcoVadis provides sustainability ratings, which are crucial for your assessments and ongoing continuous monitoring efforts. This is a versatile integration type covering the ISV data and ESG aspects. Now, please make a note, you will need to have a valid subscription to use any of these risk intelligence services from the respective risk intelligence service providers. Now, beyond ServiceNow's native capabilities, our robust ecosystem of partners provides critical integration, accessible via ServiceNow Store. Now, these partners allows us to bring specialized risk intelligence directly into TPRM processes, offering deeper insights and automations. Many of our partners, including BitSight or Security Scorecard, RiskReckon, UpCard, and Record Future, specialize in cybersecurity ratings. And for comprehensive and specialized risk intelligence, you can make use of Black Kite, right, Interos, or TrueSights, and so on. This list of partners supported integrations will increase in future as and when we extend our integration capabilities. All right, uh, just an example of a risk intelligence scorecard. This is where we have used the EcoVadis risk intelligence scorecard. As you can see, how you end up getting the raw score, how it can be normalized, and what could be the normalized rating. When was this score generated? And this is a direct link to the scorecard report. And The other factors within the scorecard as to what different areas Acquaidis is uh, you know getting the ratings. It could be from the environmental score, it could be ethics score, labor and human rights, and sustainable procurement scores, and these will all come with the link to the scorecard. An example of how the scorecard would look like is this, right? So this slide shows a real world example of a risk intelligence scorecard from Ecovadis, right, which is leading a provider of sustainability ratings. You can see how it provides a quick high level overview of third party named Work Faster, right, including their overall sustainability performance, right? In this case, uh, a silver medal with a score of 56 out of 100, right? Beyond the overall score, right? These scorecard breakdowns into different performance, right? Different key risk domains, which could be environment, which could be labor and human right, ethics and sustainable procurement, as we discussed in our previous slide, right? So each domain provides a specific score for all of these risk areas, offering a granular insight into where a third party excels in its performance or has areas for further improvement. Right. So the key stakeholders responsible to perform the risk intelligence activities, right, includes your TPRM manager and the assessors, right? And this is where these users or these personas can request a score or reports for the third parties by using the risk intelligence request form, and also can register the risk intelligence providers and services and so on. All right, uh, time for a quick demo. So the scope for this demo will go through how you can register a risk intelligence provider, right? Setting up the risk intelligence provider service, right? Adding a risk intelligence score to a third party, and finally how you can automate actions based on the risk intelligence scores. Okay, so I've logged into the system by using the third party managers login, which is Adam Arrow, and we'll go to the vendor management workspace. In the vendor management workspace, to register a risk intelligence provider, you can go to the list and scroll down. This is where you'll be able to see risk intelligence provider setup. Click on the provider setup. Now, since I'm using the demo data, I've already created few, but then once you actually um, uh, establish the integration with any of the risk providing yeah, uh, external source, right? It could be BitSight or it could be Rapid Ratings or UpGuard. Then you can create the provider setup over here. But then for this, I mean, you need to have a valid subscription with these service providers. And to install the plugins, what you can do is you can go to the ServiceNow store and look for BitSight, or or it could be UpGuard, and install those plugins. You can get those plugins and install those plugins for your third-party risk intelligence service providers integration. So, and once you do that, the first thing you will have to do is create the provider service. Now, this is where I have created uh, for BitSight, say for example, and you provide the uh, name of the service provider, and then give a short description. give a short description, and if it is a tick this box if it is a multi-factor. Now this option is to specify that the provider can return multiple different score types. For example, it can be financial risk, or it could be a legal risk, or it could be a security risk. Depending on that, you can select this, and then can tick this box for order reports. This option is to specify that the provider can be selected for risk intelligence report request. Again, URL, the service provider's URL over here, a quick brief note. And if you want to add an a logo of your service provider, you can add it over here. Like for example, you can see it over here, like BitSite, and save the record. So once you save the record, the risk intelligence provider setup record would be created. Now the next step for this is to create the uh, intelligence providers service. Now this is where you can go to provider services and create the provider service. Now this provider service, right? So after registering the risk intelligence provider, you can specify which of the providers scoring or rating services you will be using here, right? So say for example, I've created one, say BitSite legal risk. Now in the legal risk, I'm just trying to create what type of service I'm planning to get from BitSite. So this is for legal service, and I'm just trying to map it to the risk area. For example, just say anti-bribery and corruption. And then this is a very important piece where you are going to map the risk score ratings. Now, usually what does BitSite provides, as far as I know, is like the range of the scores starts from 0 to say 920 or something, and you can have those mappings created over here as to how this rating should look like into the system. Say if it is from 0 to 200, it can be a minor or a very low, and for low you can set it from 200 1 to 400, and similarly for moderate you can set it from 400 to 600, and for high it is like 600 to 800, and anything above 800 you are setting it for as critical. Now once you save this, the next thing what you have to do is to create the request type. I've created certain request type, but the request types over here we can say, if it is for legal, you can select the request type as legal, and the provider from which provider you are supposed to get this information from, right? And so basically the request type usually uh, are defined ranging from, say, if it is for level 1, it can be a general risk intelligence request type. You can set it for level 2 for getting some granular level of risk intelligence, right? I've set it as legal just for the demo purpose, and then go here. And next one is, this is where you can actually request for a report once you establish the successful integration with your service provider, which is in this case, like let's call it as BitSite. And this is where you can go and create a new request. In the new request, you are anyway selecting, which service provider it is and the request type, right? It could be a level 1, level 2, or it could be anything like ranging from legal, financial, or the one which I have created is like, say, legal, and you're adding the third party's name over here. Say for example, Rantech, right? I'm requesting it for a third party called Rantech, and you can provide a description over here as to what this report you are going to seek from the provider service provider. And you can say save. So, okay, I have already created one, but then yeah, we can go to that. So say for I have created for a legal risk, and so I've entered this data and I've say, submitted the request. Now, once the request is getting fulfilled, the scores will be added over here. Now, since this is just a demo instance, I don't have an actual uh, integration with BitSide because it does comes with a subscription to it, and we are not exception for that. So I'm just using a demo data over here. Now, this doesn't stops me to, you know, generate some findings or risk intelligence scoring. So what I can do is you can always input a manual score over here. Now, before even getting over here, so the basic intent of you getting a score, and you want to take some uh, actions on your third party based on the risk intelligence score. So for that, what you can do is you can set up the provider based submission rules. Now for this provider based submission rules, you can go to all and say provider based submission rules. So if you can see assessment submission rules, beneath that there is a provider based submission rules. So what basically it does is based on certain risk scoring criteria, you can send out assessments, you can send out uh, you can create issues and you can create tasks. So say for example, I have created a submission rule which says the risk score, if it is increased by 100 points, what should happen. And this is where I'm actually selecting the provider service as well. So like this, you can have the provider services created for your legal risk. You can have a submission criteria set for your cyber security, or it could be the overall risk of your third party. So this is where, once you get in over here, you can say, which provider service you are going to use. That is the one which I've created was BitSite legal risk. You give an order as to in which order this has to be executed, and then this is the very important piece, where is, what type of changes you are looking. Now, there are ranges over here, right? It could be a percentage, it could be a score, or it could be a rating. So say for example, if I've selected a score, now in this score you can set the extent of change, what sort of change it is, whether it is increased risk by, or whether it is a decreased risk by, or whether it can be a threshold. Now, if you say increased risk by, say for example, now the current risk score of your third party from your risk intelligence service provider, you would have received it like say 200. Now, if there is a new uh, risk intelligence score for the same third party for your legal risk, which is increased by 100, or if it is increased by 200, or whatever the range it is, if there is any score which is increased by 100, what you can do is you can set certain condition, be it for your vendors or be it for your third parties. You can set certain conditions over here, and you can also say what could be the rule action. Now, in this rule action, what you can do is you can create assessments, you can create issues, and you can create tasks. So, and when you are creating an assessment, what sort of assessment you are going to send out to your third party. Now, in this case, I'm just selecting it as anti-bribery, but then you can have pretty much any other assessment templates, right? It could be your hardware, or it could be a software, it could be, any security assessments which you want to conduct based on the score what you are receiving uh, from your risk intelligence provider. Similarly, you can also set templates for, you can create your issue templates, and you can also map it over here, and even your task templates. Now, again, I mean, these are again optional. If you want to use it, you can use it. If you don't want to use it, you can simply say no, right? For now, just for example's sake, I'm just using, say, something in new state. Okay, issue template for a new state. And now, if you just directly want this to be submitted to your third party, you can do that. But it is uh, it depends on how your business is. If you want to review as to what sort of assessments you want to send based on the scores which you receive, you can take a call. This is a good option here, wherein you can at least take some or probably add some more assessments while the submission rules are getting triggered. We will see this in a while. And then you can also send out emails. Now you can send out emails to multiple users within the system based on whatever risk intelligence score you are receiving over here, right? So you can say to you can select multiple users within the organization to whom you want to send it. And once this is all done, you can say update. Now what will happen is, okay, let's go back to the vendor management workspace, and from there we'll get an idea. So say for example, already there is a risk score which is submitted, the raw risk was submitted as 200, uh, right? This is the previous score. Now what happens, like if there is an increase in the risk score, say by 100, what will the system do? The system will auto generate the assignments. Now let us do that, right? So I'll click on new, and this is where I can say my service provider is BitSite. I'm using it for my legal risk. My request type is legal, and the raw score, earlier score, it was like 200. I'm just going to increase it by, say, the new raw risk score is 400. And for which third party I'm doing it for a third party, say, Rantech Soft. Okay. And the URL of the service provider, or it could be the actual report also. You can paste it over here now. And if I say save, what it will do is it will look into the mapping which we have created earlier. Like if you remember, from 0 to 200 is very low, 200 to 400 is low, and 400 to 600 it goes to medium, something like that, right? So it will look into the mapping, and it will give you the score over here, the normalized score as 400. And if you see 200 to 400, it will show you as low. Now, so once this is done, imagine this is the risk intelligence score you have received for Rantec, right? We can go to the third party record, which is Rantec. And if you go into the assessments, what it will do, it will create an it will auto generate an assessment. Now, this is where in this, if you remember, the assessment what uh, I have configured was to supposed to send out the anti-bribery questionnaire. That will be pre-populated over here in the questionnaire. Plus, you can still add few more, right? You can still add few more and then take a call whether to send it to your third party. So this is one way. Uh, this is one of the rule submission. The other one, if you go back to your risk overview, right, it will also auto create an issue. So if you see it, it auto creates an issue, and you can further add the remediation steps to this and can work upon the issues. Similarly, it will also create a new, it will auto generate a new task. And even the new task, you can work upon these tasks. Now, so now what happens is basically once the risk intelligence uh, score is received, it should actually populate over here. But then I suppose this will take some more time. I have another uh, uh, third party which I've created earlier. I just want to save some time over here. So what happens is this will the risk intelligence provider scoring would be shown to you like this. Now for this, in this example, there are two risk intelligence providers. One is the one is the rapid ratings and one is the bit side. So it will show you the risk scores in this fashion on your third party record. All right. So I think this was helpful to get a quick understanding as to how risk intelligence reports are fetched in, or how a risk intelligence rating is shown onto your third party risk records. Going back to our deck, right? So yeah, we have just gone through the demo now. We have, as you have seen, right? We have captured. I've also captured you know the screenshot as to how this would look like uh, once you have the actual integration built with your risk intelligence provider, and this will keep on getting updated as and when you can set certain rules, or you can always request the scorecard from your third party, or you can pretty much also schedule you know some periodic updates from your risk intelligence provider that will keep on getting updated over here. And based on the submission rule, new assessments or new issues or new tasks can be created. All right, so some useful resources you would want to refer for better understandings have been captured over here. Uh, and this will always be helpful for your implementation purpose also. So, I mean, so, you know, please raise a support request with ServiceNow support team in case you need any help on these topics. Because risk intelligence deals with specific integrations with external sources, as you have seen. And if you find difficulties, please do raise a support request. Our team would be more than happy to help you. Right. So some key takeaways, as you have seen, more of a dynamic monitoring, like moving from static checks of to continuous checks based on your risk intelligence, uh, service providers. Also, a better visibility, I would say. You can get a comprehensive risk scores for your new or even for your existing vendors. You have also seen how smart automation is in play, right? Which based on the updates, sending automatic triggers in terms of your assessment, or it could be issues, tasks, or alerts. You have seen there are flexible integration capabilities. It could be ISV, or it could be a content provider, or it could be a data or any ESG sources. You have seen rich partner network, like as in you know uh, it we have partners, partner enabled plugins, right? It could be for BitSite, or it could be for rapid ratings or upcards, so on and so forth, right? And easy data flow, as you have seen how data intake process is like the scoring, wherein you can the score intake process and the way how you can map those scores to your third party ratings, be it low, very low, medium, or high. All right, so yep, hope this session was helpful. Thanks for watching this speed learning session. Hope it has provided you some quick insights into your risk intelligence service providers. See you soon.